tuned in to The Andrew Lawton Show.
I want to talk about another dimension of this, which I feel is the part of the story that's not as often told, and that is the local dimension, because these are our local communities that oftentimes have had to deal with this influx, which isn't just at Roxham Road, but I think all around Ontario and Quebec near the New York-Vermont border. I want to welcome onto the show the Mayor of Niagara Falls, Jim Diodati. Your Worship, good to have you on the show. Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me, Andrew.
So this is not often, because it's immigration, been seen as a municipal issue, but in your city it really has been one.
Yeah, it was something just kind of happened to us. It started out pretty mild. Last summer, they brought 87 people to Niagara Falls, and they said they'd be asylum seekers staying in town. They'd be part of the federal government's program just to kind of keep it low key, and we did, and it seemed pretty nefarious. And next thing we went from 87 to 387 to 600 to 1,200. We're up over 2,000 rooms now and upwards of more than 5,000 asylum seekers here in Niagara Falls. So for a community of 95,000, when more than 5% are asylum seekers, that's a big number. That's an overnight impact. And it's been difficult because we're trying to absorb the social services, Ontario Works, and all the other things that go with it. And I've been on regular conversations with IRCC and as well as the province today, just trying to sort out our role in this matter. And again, let me start by saying, Andrew, I know we're a nation of immigrants. We get that. And I know generally these are good people coming from bad situations. We're grateful to do our part, but we feel that we're doing more than our fair share and we need a little bit of help.
Well, and I think that's a point well taken, Mayor, because when you talk about the broader landscape, you could find the immigration numbers and divide it into a country of 38 million, and it doesn't sound that bad. But when you look at the fact that so much of that is concentrated along border communities, it does change the dynamic. And Niagara Falls in particular it's a lovely place. It's a tourist city. You've probably got better use for a lot of the hotel rooms that you have there. And it occurs to me as you were talking about that, have you actually had issues where hotel occupancy rates have been artificially inflated and elevated, and you don't actually have room to accommodate the tourist demand?
Well, that's a great question. And yes, so of course, it's the economic model of supply and demand. And we've got big inventory. And in the shoulder season, a lot of it's vacant during the week. So it seemed like a natural place. And of course, a lot of the hoteliers were happy to grab the extra money. It was easy money. But we're already running into challenges. We've got major tour groups, major events that bring in significant amounts of people that are getting very, very frustrated. They've reached out to our office. Some said they're going to leave the city. I can tell you too, Andrew, we've had some situations, and this is some of the unintended negative outcomes of a good idea. We've had some of our local Niagara homeless who public health have put up in our local motels who have been evicted to make room for asylum seekers. So, you try to solve a problem, and it's not by creating another problem or kicking the can down the road. So I asked three things of the federal government. Number one, I asked that we have a seat at the table. So we need to be part of the discussion if we're going to help with the solution. And we are the boots on the ground. We're telling them some things they did not know, they weren't aware, because we're the front line. So I said, give us a seat at the table. We're here to help. Second thing, we need money. Federal government's going to have to pay some of the bills here. Our peripheral expenses, our food bank, our soup kitchen is up 85%. Our local community groups, the churches, mosques, temples, and whatnot are giving coats, boots, hats, gloves, and things like that. So second request is for money. And third thing is we'd like to be made privy to the plan or plans. And I know they're evolving, emerging, and they're changing, and we get that. But tell us what the plan is. Hope can't be the strategy. We need a physical plan, because my bigger concern, Andrew, is, I've got this one train coming down the track of thousands of asylum seekers, and I've got this other train coming down the other track. We've got 14 million tourists coming back. So we don't want to have a problem. We want everyone to land softly. And in Niagara Falls, we're the number one leisure destination in Canada. 40,000 people count on tourism to feed their families, to pay the rent, pay the mortgage, and they're counting on a recovery season. We were devastated by COVID. Last year, domestic tourism returned to pre-pandemic numbers, but international, we're below half. So now that the ArriveCan app is gone from the borders and it's a favorable exchange rate for our American friends, this is the year of international recovery we're counting on. And if we don't have the inventory, we're going to have some challenges.
And I mean, when we talk about the change that came out last week to the Safe Third Country Agreement, I think obviously for the illegal border crossing aspect of it, there's a bit of a resolution there. But part of the government's response to that is increasing or widening the pipeline for asylum claimants. So the problem that you're describing in Niagara Falls is pretty much unchanged and perhaps made even worse by this change, is it not?
Well, it could be, and that's the thing. The devil's going to be in the details, and I know that. I'm just glad they're addressing it, not ignoring it.
Mm-hmm.
Roxham Road's a legal loophole, and it's not even fair to the other asylum seekers who are going through the proper channels because they're jumping the queue ahead of people doing it the right way. And it's only a matter of time. And if you look at the path of least resistance, and water will take that. Wherever the low point is, wherever the opening is, that's where the water goes. And eventually it'll force that opening bigger until there's no water going anywhere but that place. And that's where we were headed. And again, I don't know that there's any perfect solution. It's just that we're trying to get to a better place. And yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just curious about whether there has been a seat at the table for any of your counterparts in other municipalities, because as the old line goes, there's safety in numbers. And I know that other communities are dealing with this. You probably get unfairly targeted because, as you mentioned, you have the hotel inventory. So you're more of a natural pick there. But have other mayors and other cities really seen the same thing here?
Well, definitely not to this degree. I speak regularly with Drew Dilkins, the mayor of Windsor, and they asked for a cap to be put on their hotel rooms, and then they got bumped. And Niagara Falls, we're at almost 2,000. They added another 500 rooms this week. So unfortunately, some of the hoteliers see it as a great opportunity, but we're only 2 months away. So
Just to interject there, Mayor Diodati. So when you say they added 500, is this something that the federal government can do unilaterally just by going to the hotel and saying, "Hey, we want the rooms"? Are you theoretically cut out of that discussion entirely if the government doesn't want to involve you?
we are absolutely not part of that discussion. They're going
Wow.
direct. So they're using a third party group who's putting out requests for proposal. And then all the hoteliers that are interested can put in a bid. And of course, rates are going higher because we're getting closer to the tourism season. And, right now it's probably around $140, $150 a night for a hotel room, plus $75 a day for food, 3 meals a day and snacks for kids in school. Then they get another $350 a month for incidentals. And there's some other fees that they get, so they're being well taken care of. And of course, if I'm a hotelier and it's the shoulder season, and I can get 7-day-a-week occupancy, and I don't have to clean the room, and I don't need to be preparing meals because a lot of them are using third-party cafeteria type meal processes. I mean, I understand the allure of it, but it's not sustainable, and we don't have a plan. We don't know how long it's going to go, when it's going to end, how big it's going to get. We don't have any of these. Nobody really seems to have these answers.
Well, hopefully you'll get them, and we'll have to have you back on to see if you have any luck on that. I mean, this is not a new problem, and every time it comes up, it's like everyone acts it's the first time they've ever had to consider it. So I'm glad that you are on the ground and willing to share that. Niagara Falls Mayor Jim Diodati, thank you so much, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to The Andrew Lawton Show. Support the program by donating to True North at www.tnc.news.